what's up, guys? Got another new video for you. This is Tuned In Sports. My name's Bryson.
I'm Steve.
And we got the Week 15 NFL Pick'em here for you. Another week down and another week coming up. In the NFL, we're nearing the end. Only 3 weeks left. So the misery is almost over. Anyways, we're going to get into this week's pick'em. So, let's just hop right into it, I guess. First game is the Thursday night game, Chargers at the Raiders. What do you think for this one?
This is a must-win game for the Raiders. Playoff lives are at stake here. They lose this game, I don't see them making the playoffs. This is a must-win. They really can't afford to lose another game. So we'll see what happens. The Chargers, they got their first comeback win or whatever of the season last week, where they were actually able to pull one out, which is a good sign for them. I think the Chargers organization is probably looking at maybe changing coaches. Who knows? So it's kind of a mess on both sides at the moment. And the Raiders haven't been playing anywhere near the type of ball they were, back 4 or 5 weeks ago. So I don't know what to think in this game. I'm going to give the Raiders the nod because of the fact that it's a home game for them. And that it is basically a playoff game at this point for them.
Yeah.
And they have to win. So I'll go with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. It's playoffs in the sense that if they lose, they're going home.
Right.
They're staying home. I think the Raiders will win this game, although divisional games are never easy for the most part. So I think it'll be a pretty close game either way. I don't see it being a Chargers outing where they lose 45-0 or whatever it was that they lost to at the Patriots. However, what I will say though is that I think that if the Raiders do lose this game, that's going to be really difficult because I think a lot of people had pretty high expectations coming into the season, and I mean in all reality, they should already be kind of out of it. I mean, if it wasn't for the Jets, doing that fluke nonsense, hey, all we need to do is keep them out of the end zone, so let's engage 8 and blitz everybody on the last play of the game. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, they'd have already lost and probably be out right now. So I don't... I don't have a lot of faith in them, to be honest. I think they're just too inconsistent. I mean, they'll beat the Chiefs and then turn around and lose to the Falcons.
Yep.
So it's really hard, but I do think the Raiders will win this week for sure.
Yeah.
All right, especially at home. All right, next game.
It's a Saturday game.
Yep, Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Saturday game this week.
Yep. Bills at the Broncos. The Bills are coming off a nice win on Monday night against the Steelers. Going to be a quick turnaround for them. Now they're going and playing Denver. The Bills are more than equipped to deal with any form of weather that there might be at this game. And I just think the Bills are a lot like the Broncos, to be honest with you. The Bills have a really solid defense. And difference is the Bills have great offense. And so I just see the Broncos running into the usual issue where the defense will play well enough to keep them in the game, but the offense can't move the ball because I think the Bills' defense is better than a lot of teams. I don't know where they're at stats-wise, but I've always thought they had a solid defense. And so I just see the Broncos having their usual problems this week of just not being able to put up enough points and eventually getting blown out because of that or just losing in a tight one. But either way, I see them losing. I don't see them winning.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think for the most part, um, the Bills are in really good shape to win this division. I think
Mm-hmm.
the Dolphins are in second place, I believe, in the
Yeah,
division.
they are.
And I believe they're at least 2 games behind them. So, I mean, it's looking good for the Bills. There definitely should be some motivation to win this game. They can possibly get up get to where they could have a home game for the playoffs, or maybe even work themselves into a bye the first week. So that might be worth playing for sure. I think their game, and they play hard every week. So I don't expect them to just go in there and lay down for sure. But I think the game actually means quite a bit for the Bills. But this is one of those games, though, where, the Broncos show up and pull off an upset.
Yeah, because everybody's going to be picking the Bills after they just beat the Steelers, and then all of a sudden, holy crap, Denver won.
Yeah, and like we said, the Broncos have been playing tough, and the defense is always good. Mm-hmm. So would it surprise me if the Broncos pull the victory here? No, it would not. Am I going to take the Bills? Yeah, just because I think there's playoffs seeding on the line, and the Broncos pretty much playing out the string. They're not going to the playoffs. So, there's actually no motivation for them to really want to win this game.
As a matter of fact, it might be diminishing to the team if they do.
You want to get. If you're not going to make the playoffs, you want to get as high a draft pick as you can. So.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
And it's a short week for the Bills too. They played on Monday, and now they'll be turning around and playing on Saturday. Yep. So. That could have an impact, but I still think the Bills will win.
Yep.
All right, next game. Panthers at Packers. Ooh, yikes. I think that the Panthers will actually play good in this game. I think that they're going to put up a fight. I don't think they're going to win. And this is the other Saturday game, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that they're going to put up a fight. I think they'll be in the game. And I think that it will come down to the last play. Packers are going to win, though. But I think the Panthers, they're a very, very game team.
Yeah.
And they have not gotten just clobbered rarely ever this season. And as a matter of fact, I think they had one. I think they've only lost once or twice by double digits, and I think at least once, if not both times, were by the Saints. So that's not uncommon. A lot of teams have a hard time with the Saints. So anyway, I think Packers will win, but I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down to the Panthers have the ball with a chance to score in the final minute and just don't get the job done.
Yeah, there's a lot to be played for here for the Packers. They're still fighting to see if they can get the number 1 seed and have home field advantage throughout. That's a huge, huge, huge advantage if you can get it. I realize there's not fans in the stands right now, so it means a little less than it did before. But just the fact that if you get home field advantage, you don't have to travel. You don't have to, stay in a hotel room and all this stuff that's going to be taking place for those that are traveling. I just feel like there's an advantage to that. And, the Packers definitely, would like to do it if they can.
Yeah.
The Panthers, on the other hand, like he said, the very game team. They play tough. They're not an easy out, no matter who they're playing. I think Bridgewater is the right guy for the job there. Their biggest problem has been McCaffrey's been out for a lot of the year with injuries and stuff, and there's just not any consistency there. And they're missing a couple of pieces, but they're definitely going in the right direction as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect Green Bay to win this game. I'm not sure I see it as close as Bryson does. I just feel like Green Bay's got to put their foot on the gas pedal and finish this stuff off strong to where they can get the number 1 seed. So we'll see what happens, but I'm taking Packers.
Okay. First Sunday game, Texans at Colts. Speaking of division matchups, this is going to be an interesting game, I feel like, because the Texans are playing a much better brand of football than they were at the beginning of the year. But at the same token, the Colts are, 9-4. They're at home. And above all, I mean, they're just kind of a strange team, to be honest with you. I can't, it's hard to get a judge on the Colts. Seems like some weeks they come out and play really well, and then other weeks they come out and look very beatable. And I think a lot of it comes down to what Phillip Rivers is going to show up. Because some weeks he comes out and he looks like a guy that's, close to retirement. And other weeks he looks like he could still play. So if I had to guess, or if I had to pick, which that's what we're here for, I'm going to take the Colts, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans ended up winning this game. But, by the same token, the Colts actually, they need to keep winning. Mm-hmm. They really do. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll do that here because they are a well-coached team.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm taking the Colts on that alone.
Mm-hmm. I would totally agree. In my opinion, the one team in the AFC that nobody wants to play in the playoffs is the Colts. I think they have enough weapons offensively to play with anybody. And if Phil Rivers shows up like the old Phillip Rivers, you got your hands full. Because they play defense, like you just said, very well coached. And they're definitely going to be a problem. So for them, there's a lot of motivation to keep winning, ensure their spot in the playoffs.
Because there's a lot of teams right on the, like we talked about, the Raiders and
right.
The Ravens and different teams that are right there for the wild card. So they need to make sure that they win their division so they don't have to worry about it.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, and like you said, the Texans have been playing a much better brand of football since the change happened.
Coach.
And, with Bill O'Brien being gone. But it still gets down to, I just think the Colts have a lot more talent right now than the Texans.
I agree.
So I don't see the Colts going down in this game. I think it's going to be a double-digit win. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I'm going Colts.
Yeah. All right, next game, Jets at Rams. I mean, unfortunately, I think the Jets' best chance to win a game has already passed, and I just don't see them winning another game any games this season, especially against the Rams. I feel like the Rams, barring a huge letdown, which I don't see happening either, because just like we said with the last team, the Rams are a team that can't afford to lose right now, for one, and for two, they're also a team that needs. They're very well coached, too, with McDermott. Or not Sean McDermott. Sean McVay, right? Yeah. So I feel like the Rams are going to win handily here.
No, that goes without being said for me. I don't see the Jets giving them much of a problem. It's one of those things where the Rams' offense is in flow right now. When you got Donald on the other side there, I mean, he's unstoppable. That guy finds ways to create havoc every game, disrupt the passing lanes, and he gets his sacks. He gets his, I mean, you name it, and the guy's doing it. So, and then the rest of the defense is pretty good as well. The cornerbacks are good. So, the Rams are on the NFC side of things. The Rams are a team that nobody wants to play either, just because they got enough talent to play with anybody offensively, and defensively they got maybe the best player in football. So, that combination is going to be pretty lethal. The only question there is the quarterback. He's not quite as consistent as a lot of people would hope he would be, but that doesn't mean he's not capable.
Yeah, and that goes to show you that you don't need to be when you got all that other stuff around you. And they always have a good running game too, so it's like that wins championships pretty much. Yeah. Time of possession and defense wins championship, and that's what they do best. So they're tough. Unfortunately, Jets I think are going 0-16 this year. Looking at the rest of their schedule, so welcome to the club. Right?
Yeah, that's one club I don't mind you joining.
Yeah, exactly. All right, speaking of the 0-16 club, let's get into the Lions game next. They got a road game against the Titans. The Titans, speaking of teams that are kind of wishy-washy, seems like some weeks they're the team that beat the Ravens and, competed against the Chiefs in the playoffs last year. And then other weeks they're kind of a shell of what they could be. Unfortunately for the Lions, I don't think you're going to see the shell this week because this is crunch time, and they can't afford to lose much. They're in the camp. Same with the Colts, like we just talked about. They actually have the same record, but the Colts hold the head-to-head right now. So with that being said, one of those two teams, if they want to make the playoffs and not win the division, they better have a good record for the wild card.
Yep.
And either one of them, if they stay at the same record, they should be fine. If they keep winning, even if they end up losing the division. But, there's not a lot of leeway if they start losing. And a game against the Lions is a game you can't lose at home, especially. Yep. So I see the Titans taking care of business here. I think it will probably end up being close. A decent game. I don't know about, down to the wire. I think it'll be kind of the usual Lions performance where they hang with them for a while, but eventually they end up losing or getting down by double digits, and then maybe make a score in the end to put it in single digits. But I don't give them much of a chance this week, unfortunately, just because I think, like I said, the Titans can't afford to lose here. Mm-hmm. And I think they have the talent to play with anybody, so I don't think that they will.
Yeah, and the strength of the Lions is not run defense.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
And you're going up against, the most dangerous running back in the game right now. So, good luck with that. I was actually at this game back in, I believe it was 2001. I believe it was somewhere around there, where I was actually at the Lions-Titans down in Tennessee, and it was a lot of fun. We lost that game as well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. But it brings back some memories of when I was there. But from the Lions standpoint too, they got Stafford's questionable, probably isn't going to play. And then you and I heard on the radio that the starting center has got a fractured throat. So I don't know how much fun that would be to play with.
I have an idea.
They said that he can eat and drink and everything, but he's not supposed to be talking. So
I have an idea.
I don't think you can play the center position and not talk, because you're trying to tell people what kind of coverage you're going into or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think you can play that position and not be able to speak. So, I'm guessing he's going to be out. So, Stafford, you're probably better not to play this game because it could get ugly.
Yeah. I have an idea of how much fun it would be. Not very.
Yeah. I just think it could be. And Tennessee's usually pretty solid defensively, so it's not going to be pretty, I don't think. So, another loss coming for Detroit. Another losing season.
Yeah, that's what I think too, unfortunately. All right, next game. Buccaneers at Falcons. I've said this a lot, and I think it's only going to continue where I'm saying this. Another situation here where the Buccaneers on the NFC are one of those teams that can't win their division at this point because the Saints are too far ahead. And in order to get in, they need the wild card. And in order to get in the wild card, they're going to need to win some games. And they're not going to be able to afford to take an L. And, I mean, I feel like the Falcons kind of fit in that category of teams that are maybe playing a little bit better than they were at the beginning of the season. However, since the coaching changed, just kind of like the Texans that we mentioned previously, and in some regards the Lions, I think, too. But regardless, this is a game that the Bucs have to win. They can't afford to lose anymore, really. Mm-hmm. And I don't see them doing it. I don't see Tom Brady, sitting at home with the playoffs on. I mean, I just don't see that happening. I don't see the NFL letting it happen either. I see them doing whatever they need to do to make sure the Bucs are at least in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh, I agree. It's going to be an interesting game, though, because the Falcons do have one of the better passing offenses in the game, in which I believe the Buccaneers tend to struggle a little bit in that area. So if there is a possibility for it to happen, it could on that side of things. But I agree. I mean, this is a must-win for the Bucs. They can't afford to lose this game. And it really doesn't mean anything for the Falcons. They're not going anywhere. They're just playing the string out. So, I mean, they're another team that, might as well get the highest draft pick as you can. But, I mean, you're still dealing with professional players here, though, that have pride and want to play well and want to win. So, would I be surprised if the Falcons pulled off the upset? No, I wouldn't. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Bucs just got too much to play for, and they got too many weapons.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right, next game, Jaguars-Ravens. All
right,
copy and paste.
Let's go to the next one.
Literally copy and paste what I just said about the Bucs and the other teams. Ravens are John Harbaugh, in my opinion, is top 3 coach in the league. I really think he is that good. The fact that they were trying to fire him a couple seasons ago or whatever and claiming he was on the hot seat is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. If that was to happen, I don't care who we have as coach, fire him. Come over to Philadelphia, because I would take him in a heartbeat and then some. Yeah. And there's no way they're losing to the Jaguars. No way. No. That they are way too well coached to lose to a team like Jacksonville when these are must-win games, pretty much.
Yeah, you can bet
they were
farm on that one.
Yeah, and they were talking on the radio about their remaining schedule. They got the Giants and then the Bengals left, as well as the Jaguars, and all they really need to do is control their own destiny, pretty much, and just keep winning. And against those teams with that coach, they should be able to do it. I wouldn't want to have anybody else as my coach in that position. So, Jaguars. Ravens. With all that being said, Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguars taking them down.
No, Ravens by a bunch.
Yeah, Ravens win. I mean, we don't really need to talk any more about it than that. Ravens win. I don't see it. I mean, I think Minshew's going to play this week, so. Mm-hmm. But whatever, I don't care who's quarterback in the team right now. It's not going to happen.
No.
So, Ravens win, and let's move on to the next game.
Yep. Patriots at Dolphins.
This one here is going to be interesting. The Patriots obviously are having a season like they're not used to having. They've struggled in a lot of areas. Quarterback play has been inconsistent at best. But I don't, it's still the Patriots to a certain degree. And Belichick, he knows how to scheme this stuff. I definitely think this will be a close game. I don't see either side blowing the other one out. The Dolphins, it's a must-win. I mean, like we just said, they're in that mix with the Ravens and some of these teams that, I mean, it's coming down to crunch time now where you lose a game, it could cost you a playoff berth. So, I mean, I know that the Dolphins are going to be pulling out all the stops in order to win this game. The coaching staff for the Dolphins, the whole entire organization, truthfully, has done an amazing job of turning this mess around that they had.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and kudos to them. Kudos to the players. And, you know, the jury's still out on whether Tua is the right guy, but, you know, he's young. He's got plenty of talent. I do think he's got the ability to be a big-time player. So, and, I mean, he's got a great arm. He's got everything you need, really. It's just going to be, can he stay healthy? However, I mean, with Fitzpatrick and everything, I mean, he did have the team off to a great start, and then they still decided to bench him. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you're Fitzpatrick, I don't know what you're thinking or what you're really feeling right now, but, you know, I mean, probably happy just to be in a position where you can get in the playoffs, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and have something to do with it.
Yeah. So, I think it's going to be a good game. I would imagine the Dolphins are going to pull it out in the end. But I would not be surprised at all if Belichick upsets them. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, this is a must-win game for the Dolphins, specifically because the team that they're currently fighting with for a wild card spot is the Ravens. And like we just mentioned, you know, the Ravens' remaining schedule is like Jaguars, Giants, and Bengals. So do you really think they're going to lose any of those games? Probably not. Whereas Miami...
Giants,
whereas Miami still has the Patriots, they got to play the Bills one more time, and I can't remember who the other team they have to play is, but still, they got some opponents yet on the schedule that they could lose to, and Patriots as well, you know. So, but this is a must-win game for the Dolphins. They can't afford to lose this one. I don't think that they will, but like he said, you know, the Patriots are just one of those teams where it's the coach makes up for a lot, I think. And because he's so good and stuff, and he's so good at scheming and game planning, that's how you can have occurrences where they come out and
play above their heads.
Yeah, play better than they probably should be playing. Because, I mean, I'm looking at that roster, and I understand Cam hasn't played that good, but I'm looking at that roster, and it's just one no-name after another. And I'm like, boy, who would be doing well? But that just shows you how good Tom Brady was, because he had that team 13-3.
Yeah.
So,
no, exactly.
So, but anyway, I'm taking the Dolphins here for sure. Yeah. All right, Bears, Vikings. You know, this is a game between two teams that I believe are out now. The Vikings, they may still be in the...
They both are. 6 and 7. They're both.
Oh, okay. Well, the Vikings were in pretty good shape, and then they lost last week, which was a big loss for them. I can't remember who they were playing, but it was a big loss for them to take there, and they can't afford to lose, but the Bears can't afford to lose either. However, you know, the Bears' quarterback situation is suspect at best. I'm taking the Vikings.
Yeah, there's no question. The Bears don't have any offense, and the defense is wore out. The Bears' defense is the staple that they usually could stand on to keep themselves in games. And, I mean, the Bears' defense is even suspect a little bit now. And it's only because they're on the field all the time. I'm not sure what the plan is for the Bears moving forward with the quarterback, but I don't think I definitely don't think Foles is going to be there next year. I don't see them sticking around with him. He proved that he's not really the guy for that job. I'm not saying he couldn't be a guy for another job, but it's not the right situation. The Bears don't have a whole lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball right now, and they're just not very good.
No.
So, truthfully. But, you know, the Vikings stumbling last week definitely kind of hurt their chances a little bit as well. But I think offensively, the Vikings are a much better football team. And defensively, it's probably about equal. So with that being said, I think the Vikings will pull out the win. Plus they're at home.
Yeah. All right, next game, Browns at Giants. The Giants are probably, I mean, I don't know. Last week they ended up taking a loss to somebody, I believe, and then the Browns also took a loss Monday night against the Giants. They took a loss against the Ravens on Monday night, but I don't see the Browns losing here. Truthfully, just on a quick side note, I think, speaking of teams that people don't want to see in the playoffs, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm hoping the Browns get eliminated by somebody else or don't make it. Because what's the key to beating the Chiefs generally is teams that have good defense, that keep Mahomes off the field, great running games, clock management, all things that the Browns are excellent at.
Yep.
They have brought one of, if not the best running game, and I'm talking about just pure running backs. I mean, if you want to talk about quarterbacks as well, we could probably include the Ravens and maybe a couple other teams, but pure running backs, they got the best running backs and the best running game in the league. On that note, and the Chiefs, if I was them, I'd say somebody please take them out before we have to play them. And I know Baker Mayfield and all that stuff. I get it. I'm as skeptical of him as anybody. I don't think he's that great. However, I don't think he needs to be. And I think if they were to play the Chiefs in the playoffs, I would actually take the Browns. I think the Browns are the one team that could derail the Chiefs. Just their makeup and their style of play. I think they could beat the Chiefs. I would pick them. I would even put money on it. If that game happens in the playoffs, hear my words now. I'm making a bet on the Brownies.
Yep.
So, but anyway, yeah, Browns. I'm taking the Browns in this game.
It's, seeing how the Browns are my favorite AFC team, and it's nice to even be talking about possibility of playoffs. That's not something that's a common scenario for them.
No.
I mean, the moves that the organization's made are starting to pay off. I've been skeptical of
Mr.
Baker Mayfield. I'm not a big fan of his. However, I'd be lying if I didn't say that he has done a nice job this year. Overall, he has. And it's not that he's not capable of playing well, because he can. But, like I said, it's just nice to talk about the Browns and playoffs in the same sentence.
Yeah.
So, however, the Giants are in the midst of a playoff run themselves. I mean, the NFC least, or the NFC least has been, exactly that. It's funny to say where the Giants are sitting at 5-8 and are basically, in control of the division.
Yeah, they're a game out of first place, but
yeah, so the Giants they've been another one of those teams that have been playing much better as of late. So
yeah, for sure.
But I'm gonna go with the Browns here. I think the Browns will be able to do enough to get the win. So I'll take Browns as well.
Yeah. All right, next game. Speaking of NFC least, Seahawks taking on Washington football team. This game, I think Washington, another team that's playing better than they were, and I think it helps that they have a quarterback that, a coach now that I really do believe he's going to figure it out, turn it around down there. I think it's already showing that the difference that the coach can make. I'm not sure what's going on with the quarterback situation. I know Alex Smith started last week, but then at halftime, Dwayne Haskins came in, and I don't know if it was because Alex Smith
It was an injury.
Oh, he was injured?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure. I didn't hear what it was, and then I don't know if Alex Smith is starting or Haskins. Either way, I'm taking the Seahawks. I think Washington's getting better, but I just don't think they're there yet. And Seattle, again, I mean, the NFC West is... I think the Rams are 9-4, and the Cardinals are 7-6. And the Niners, I mean, if they didn't have all these injuries, they'd probably be right there in it as well. Even with all the injuries they've had, they're 5-8. So it's a really tough division, and I think the Seahawks, they need to win, keep winning, and they're going to, right here.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like this game. I just like the way Washington's playing right now. And they're in the playoff run. They're in the lead in that division.
Yep.
Their defense is really solid. They're getting the most out of their players. Chase Young's playing like a beast. And the thing that I like about Alex Smith, and I do believe he's going to play, is he's not going to lose you the game. He manages the game as well as any quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't generally put the team in harm's way or make bad passes and, stuff that's going to hurt the team too often. Just very solid quarterback. And he's actually the right kind of quarterback for the system that, this coach wants to put in play. And I think, moving forward, I think the Washington is only going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And down the stretch here, they're another team that if they happen to make the playoffs, you ain't going to want to see them. Because they're liable to pull it off. They're liable to pull off some upsets just based upon the defensive side of the ball and the fact that they don't turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, that's a nice combination. Play great defense and don't turn it over yourself. If you can do that, then you're going to be in a lot of football games. So I'm going to say that they pull off the upset.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it happening. The Giants beat Seattle, so it can be done. And I think Washington's probably better than the Giants, if I was to compare the two. So it definitely could be done. But I'll stick with the Seahawks on that one. Okay, next game, Eagles. Hey, all right, Philly at Arizona. On this game, I have really mixed emotions because coming off of last week, it's easy to sit here and say, boy, we're looking good and all this other fun stuff. And we're going against the Cardinals who, I picked them to win the NFC West. If you guys watched the What's Your Potential for the NFC West video, I picked them to win the division. I said it was a sleeper pick and it was... they had an outside chance at doing so, but I did pick them to win it. However, they haven't played to the level that I believe they're capable of playing this season. Look no further than the Eagles for another example. They haven't played to the level they're capable of either. However, the Eagles got a new quarterback. They looked pretty decent last week. And actually, they looked better than decent. They looked pretty solid. So I think I'm gonna take the Eagles here. I'm gonna say the Eagles in this game. It's kind of a must-win for the Cardinals. So with that being said, that would dictate that I'd take the Cardinals here. But it is also a must-win for the Eagles. And I guess I'm biased a little bit, so obviously. But I think the Eagles could win this game. And if they do win this game, I see them winning out. I think they could beat Dallas next week. And then the division will come down to Washington game, probably. And if Washington loses this week and the Eagles win, they'll be right close. And then it'll come down to that game, probably. And I'm going to go with the Eagles. I believe, like I said, it could just be a little bit of I'm hyped up after last week, and then we come in here and look like the same old Eagles. I have no doubt that probably will be the case. But I'm going to say we're going to keep rolling here, beat the Cardinals, and win out.
Yeah, I mean, this should be an interesting game. Like you just said, I mean, the Eagles are playing a little bit better brand of football right now than they have been. I think a lot of it is Wentz going out, and you got a quarterback in there that teams haven't been able to really prepare for. So they're able to do some things offensively that maybe they weren't able to do before. So Eagles are going to definitely. I think the Eagles are going to bring it this week. And I mean, the Cardinals are at home, so the Eagles are traveling across the country. However, it should be a pretty interesting game. If the Cardinals lose this week, playoffs are pretty much done, I think, for them. I don't see them making it.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, I don't think he's 100% either. I think he tweaked his ankle or whatever last week. So he may be a little less than 100%, which is going to be difficult for him. Because, I mean, if he doesn't have his legs, he's not as effective.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Cardinals only because I think it's a must-win for them. And I think they got enough talent to play with, just about anybody. It just, I don't know how they arrived at 6 losses, but they have. So,
yeah.
I mean, I thought they would be better than they are.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they lost to the Lions, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next game. Chiefs at Saints. For my money, I mean, obviously this isn't exactly going out on a limb, but should be the game of the week. Just looking at the two teams, I think this is going to be a really interesting game. I think the jury is still out on whether or not Drew Brees is going to play this week or not. I think he very well could not, probably won't play. I don't see any reason to rush him back, to be honest with you. But at the same time, if he does play, that's going to be a difference maker for sure. However, even with Taysom Hill, I mean, dude's lost one game to the Eagles, but other than that, I think he's 8-0 since taking the gig over. So, I mean, hey, I don't think it matters that much. I think the other guy's more than capable of running this team and getting them wins. Yeah. However, there's only one Drew Brees, so there's that. But this is a tough one. Saints are coming off a loss to the Eagles, of course, and the Chiefs. They only have one loss to the Raiders. But I'm gonna take the Saints in an upset here.
Saints in an upset?
Yeah.
Well, and I wouldn't. I would probably say you could be right. And the reason that I kind of like that is for a couple of reasons. The Chiefs can lose this game and still be in the first position because the nearest team has got 3 losses. So there's no pressure on them to really win this game. They don't have to win it. It's not changing their status. It's not going to change the playoff positioning at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints are pretty much, if nothing else, if Breeze does play, they want to get the rhythm and everything going back the way it was, to where that when they hit the playoffs, that they got a good chance to do something. And it is a home game. Weather won't be a factor, however, because it's indoors.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Saints, if they had fans in the stadium, it'd be a definite advantage for them. But there's no fans, so other than like we talked about, where being able to sleep in your own bed and do all that kind of stuff is nice.
Well, and also indoor dome turf as opposed to outdoor grass.
Yep.
That can have an impact sometimes, but yeah, crowd advantage though is gone.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I would not be surprised if the Saints won. I mean, in some regards, I'm thinking I'm picking the wrong side of this game. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I don't know.
Well, the other thing is,
the Chiefs have so many weapons, it's just not funny.
There's a couple other reasons, too, that I'm thinking. Number one, coming off that loss to the Eagles, I think everyone's going to be picking the Chiefs. They're going to say, oh, boy, if they couldn't handle the Eagles, what are they going to do against the Chiefs, for one? And then for two, if Drew Brees does end up playing this game, there were some questions about how he was looking and stuff at the beginning of the season. Is he the same guy? Stuff like that. And I think all this rest, these last handful of weeks, probably is going to be helpful for him. And if he does come back, I think he'll be coming back with a vengeance. Yeah. And what a better way to, make yourself known again than by beating the best team in football. And I could see it happening, to be honest with you. So I'm taking the Saints, but I wouldn't, like he said, the other way around, I think it's only logic that the Chiefs could win this game. Come on. Let's be honest.
Nobody, I don't think, if the Chiefs are healthy and everything being equal, there's nobody that can play the Chiefs and win this game. I think the Chiefs can beat anybody out there. I don't care who it is. If you just go apple to apple, and you look at just talent per position, defensively the Chiefs are not quite as good as some teams, but offensively they're better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
As far as weapons, and speaking of great running backs, they've got two of them there. Hilaire's awesome, done a wonderful job as a rookie, and then you got Le'Veon Bell, who is definitely one of the all-time greats. So, they're sitting pretty right now. And and the nice thing is for them is they haven't had to really utilize Le'Veon that much. So his legs are going to be fresh for the playoffs, which is going to be a huge advantage for them. Because if he's healthy and he's motivated, watch out.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm going to take the Chiefs here. Would not be surprised, however, if the Saints won the game.
Yeah. All right, Sunday night game, I believe. Oh, no, just another 10 o'clock game, I guess. So apparently one of those games was the Sunday night game, and I just wasn't paying attention to the time. Anyway, 49ers at Cowboys. At the beginning of the season, NFL was probably circling this game as like, boy, can't wait for this one. This is going to be must-watch TV for people. Obviously hasn't turned out that way.
Yeah.
Both teams aren't exactly what we thought they would be going into the season. 49ers more so due to injury. I guess you could say same thing for the Cowboys. Without Prescott, but at the same time, the Cowboys were struggling quite a bit even before Dak got injured. But that just kind of sealed the deal on it. I feel like this is really kind of a pick-em because the 49ers just have so many injuries, but at the same time, the Cowboys are just almost anemic. I don't know. They're really not playing well for the most part, and I feel like Dalton is playing a little bit better than he did previously, but, I really don't know here. I can't stand the Cowboys, so I'm going to say the Niners. But I wouldn't, this is a toss-up. It's a coin flip, I really think.
I think, the Cowboys just gave Mike McCarthy a vote of confidence, told him that he's going to be coaching there next year. Because there was a lot of speculation that he might be fired at the end of the season or whatever, just, due to how bad they've underachieved. Like we said, Dak Prescott going down definitely didn't help things. Andy Dalton's actually kind of underachieved for what I thought he would be able to do there.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be able to step in and actually possibly even be an upgrade in some regard.
I agree.
And it hasn't worked out that way. They just haven't been able to get on the same page with the receivers and this and that. I don't know whether it's play calling or if Dalton's just kind of lost an edge or lost a step maybe. It happens to everybody. He's been around the league quite a long time now, so
Yeah.
it could have been any of those things. But yeah, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with you and take the Niners. I think overall, player to player, I think the Niners are a little bit better. I think they got a little more talent. So I'm gonna say the Niners get the victory.
Yep.
But it'll be a good game. It'll be close.
Well, it'll be a good game in terms of the score. Maybe not great game in terms of what people want to watch, but it is what it is. I mean, injuries happen. So, all right, final game, the Monday night game, Steelers at Bengals. Even with Joe Burrow, Steelers coming off a loss here to the Bills on Sunday night, I would be taking the Steelers, even with Burrow in there, just because they're coming off a loss, and I feel like they're going to be playing with an edge, as well as how they played the first time, where they pretty much, smacked them across the field. But I think it with Burrow, it would have been a closer game than the first time around. I think I still would have taken the Steelers, but without him, I think this one could get ugly really quickly. Brandon Allen or whoever they're going to have starting, this. I mean, we're going to be hearing a lot about the sack streak, I'm sure, and I think the Steelers are just going to take them to Pound Town, and I think whoever the quarterback is for the Bengals this week, get the ice bath ready, because I think he's going to. I truly believe he's going to be taking some serious punishment. I wouldn't want to be starting for the Bengals this week, I'll tell you that much. I think this is going to be, he's going to be hurting.
This is back-to-back losses for the Steelers, I think, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, it might be.
I think it's back-to-back losses they've suffered, so, I mean, and you can only imagine what's going on in that locker room. I mean, Tomlin seems like pretty much a straightforward, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen type of guy. So I'm sure there's been a lot of discussions about, the lack of professional play that they've been exhibiting the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they've been absolutely horrible, but, they're not playing up to standard.
Yeah.
However, I mean, when you play a team like the Bills, I mean, they can expose you. I mean, that's one of the few teams in the AFC that has the talent to play with them.
Yeah.
They usually beat people just based upon, well, we got more talent and we're better than you are, and we scheme better than you do. But when you meet up with a coach and a team that has, as much, if not more talent than they do, well, you got your hands full.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that the Steelers aren't capable of coming out of the AFC and getting to a Super Bowl. I wouldn't say that, that the season's over for the Steelers. But I do think, the recipe is kind of been shown on how to beat them. So, but in this game, yeah, I mean, there's no question the Bengals are beating them. I mean,
yeah,
this game is going to get ugly in a hurry.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bengals will be up by 21 by half, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that's just going to continue on.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of how long Big Ben is allowed to be out there before they yank him.
Nah, this is case closed. Bengals lose in a big way.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this game, I don't know what the over is, but I think the Steelers could potentially get it on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, if the over is like 45.5 or something, I could see the Steelers scoring that by themselves. But yeah, anyway, so, with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the Week 15 NFL Pick'em. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Keep in mind, all of these games are pre-COVID news. So, if a game happens to be canceled or postponed or whatever due to COVID, we'll find out. But as of when we recorded this video, all of these games are green light go. So hopefully they're all able to be played above all else. I just hope that all these games are able to be played. But just keep that in mind before you, rip us in the comments or something for talking about a game that isn't going to happen. We didn't know. So it is what it is. Anyways, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. My name is Bryson.
I'm Steve.
See you guys in the next video.